Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack. Here's Jack.
And there we are, special, what do you call it? Appended, shortened Jack Henke show tonight, but we got the most important part of it, according to him, Mr. A.J. Bokide.
What's up, Jack? What's up?
What's up with you? A lot going on in the sports world.
Yeah, we got opening night. We got the Frozen Frenzy. We got opening night of basketball. We got World Series coming up. We got so much going on.
I don't even know what the Frozen Frenzy is. What's the Frozen Frenzy?
All 32 NHL teams are playing tonight.
Oh, you know something about the NHL for once?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
This is a historic evening. Good thing we're on. You tried to ditch out at the last minute. Hey, all right. So, anything you want to say about the NHL season?
I like Seattle, and I know this is impossible because they're in the same division. I like Seattle and I like Vegas.
Okay. Well, they could be two of the final four, potentially.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, it's going to be a lot. There have been a lot of changes, and every year there are a lot of changes and shakeups. We'll see what happens. What do you think about You don't think Edmonton's going to make it to the Final Four this year?
Connor's going to win the MVP again, but they're not going to make it.
Okay. If you say so. I don't believe you, but if you say so. All right. So I wanted to tell you about the NBA. It starts today, right?
Yes, sir. 2 games.
Okay. Two games. Not the Bucks, though, right?
No. Bucks play 6:30.
All right.
So
today.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Without the Sixers are starting their season without Embiid or Paul George.
What's wrong with Embiid? Besides, he's always hurt.
His ego's hurt.
Okay. Well, at least it's nothing serious. Today in The Athletic, they had their NBA edition out, and they had the over-under, or they had their predicted victories for every team in the league.
Yep.
And I saw the Bucks, and I think it was Bleacher Report, were ranked preseason at number 8 in the NBA.
Makes sense.
For the over-under for the Bucks, they said last season the Bucks record was 49-33. The over-under is 50.5.
That makes a lot of sense.
It says, do you want to hear? I'll do it quickly. Milwaukee might be the sneaky candidate to challenge the Celtics in the East. Remember, the Bucks dealt with a lot of drama last season. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard should be able to perfect the pick-and-roll combination. Here's the confidence. They have Dame and Giannis. They brought in good role players like Deion Wright and Gary Trent Jr., and this team has a better understanding of their roles. The concern. Doc Rivers did a bad job as coach last season, and there's always a possibility that Dame and Giannis don't vibe on the court together. Chris Middleton is also hurt to start the season. What's wrong with Middleton?
He had double ankle surgery again.
Again?
Yeah.
Is he? I'd like to get his gig.
I know, it's pretty cushy.
I know, I'm sure it's painful, but it's frustrating. I'm sure it's frustrating for him too. Is he going to be back? When's he going to be back? Do you have any idea?
No idea.
AJ? No idea.
I have no idea.
Let's not talk about it. Their prediction, the basketball writer for John Hollinger, who's their basketball writer, predicted the Bucks finish at 46-36.
Ooh, that's bad. That's real bad.
No dunks. This other NBA thing predicted them to go over the 50.5. What do you say?
Over 50.5.
Okay.
46-36 is way below expectations.
Does it really matter, AJ? I mean, the home field, a home court doesn't matter like it used to. It used to be you would never win a series if you didn't have home court, but now that's not true anymore.
That puts them in 6, though. That puts them in a tough path.
All right. Okay, so you say all right. So that's NBA. What are you looking for most this? What are you looking forward to most this season about the NBA?
Can Minnesota take the jump with Julius Randle?
What did you think of that trade?
I didn't get it. I like Cat. I like Cat too much.
He said Cat clogged up too much for.
Plus, what sounds better, Cat and Ant or Ant and Julius? I like Cat and Ant a lot better. It's more
Really?
It's more rhythmic when you think about it. Cat and Ant.
It sounds like a pop band, but beyond that, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. At first I thought they were crazy, but who knows? Minnesota's made some good moves.
Yeah.
Okay. They couldn't do it with Cat and Galbert. That was just it was too much.
Too much clog.
Yeah, they were clogging. I don't know anything about Julius Randle as a pro. Is he any good? I remember him from Kentucky.
13 All NBA.
Okay, so that's pretty good.
Which is considerably, top 15 player in the league.
Okay, I think Minnesota's going to be just fine with that. I think the Knicks are overrated.
Yeah, they are getting blown out right now. So I turned it off.
Okay, where do you want to go next?
Let's go. We went pro basketball. Let's go football. Let's go college football first.
Okay.
Wisconsin got a big one this weekend, and I'm sure you know. Like Madison, people are probably hyped up for this one. They're hyped up or nervous. Either one of the two.
They better be hyped up. Why would they be nervous?
Because it's number 3.
Tough shit. It can't be any worse than Alabama was for them. That's the one good thing about playing a good team that's better than you.
But by the way, I'm gonna come on and say it. USC sucks.
That's not great.
No,
we lost to them.
No, that's not great. I was watching them play Maryland the other day.
Yeah.
They were up 15 with 5 minutes left.
And
Lost.
I think those Pac-12 guys are finding out the Big Ten, even the little schools in the Big Ten, can be a problem.
Right. USC is now 3-4, 1-4 in conference.
Who's the one against?
The one is against Wisconsin.
That's right. And so much of anything, all these schedules is timing. Wisconsin still was reeling from that Alabama thing.
Yeah.
They've recovered. I think they give them a better game now, but that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
All right. So what?
And if they don't drop the punt in the third quarter against the USC team.
But they did.
Yeah, they did.
You could take out if we could take out only their 5 worst plays, they probably would have won the game. It doesn't work like that.
Well, 4 of their 5 worst plays for the year probably came in the Alabama game. So
okay. All right. So now I want you to make a prediction for the Badgers and Penn State.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
24-17 Wisconsin. Game will be over in 3 hours.
31-17 Wisconsin, I say.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. I'll take that.
Penn State can't stop them now. As long as if our quarterback turns it over 2 times or less, we'll be in good shape.
Yeah,
he's good for at least 1 interception and 1 fumble every game.
I agree with that statement.
All right, high school football.
Playoffs starting this week.
That's right.
Homestead and who, Jack?
Homestead and Hartford.
Homestead and Hartford.
They play at Homestead.
I know who Cedarburg plays, Jack.
Well, Homestead and Hartford play at Homestead, 7:00.
Cedarburg plays Germantown.
At Cedarburg, 7:00 on Friday.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Grafton
plays who?
They played. There's Grafton is copying Homestead. You know how Homestead takes the engineering schools, the pocket protector boys, and plays them in basketball.
They play.
Grafton's playing football.
Playing.
Gra-
Yes.
Grafton is playing the
What game?
Milwaukee North Lifelong Learning Co-op.
Wow.
I wish I was kidding. At 7:00, they're hosting.
No, I wish I was kidding. He said. Now, Jack, I'm interested to see how that goes.
I can tell you how it's going to go.
Yeah, I know it's good. I know it's good.
63-8. That's what it's going to happen.
I know how it's gonna go. You and I both know how it's gonna go.
Well, but it's a fun time of year.
It is. You know, every kid's dream in high school is to get to Madison. Now, not necessarily was feasible for me, but that's all right.
That's right. Both both Homestead and Cedarburg finished the year at 7-2.
Mm-hmm.
I think did they tie for second?
They both lost to Slinger and Homestead beat Cedarburg, and Cedarburg lost to Slinger and Homestead.
Slinger waxed Cedarburg this last game. I hope they can get that taste out of their mouth.
Yeah.
It was bad.
But
it's over.
Wasn't it 28-0.5 or something like that?
Something like that. I think it was like 35 or 41-6 or something.
So that's all right.
Clean slate, baby.
The boys at Homestead smacked West Bend West.
Yeah.
Because East doesn't have a team, so.
Yeah. So what's your prediction?
I think we're going to win a couple. I'm not, I don't normally make a prediction in high school sports.
Okay. Do you want to not? I'll make predictions.
I'll make a prediction.
Okay.
Homestead going to win the first 2 games.
Okay. What about Cedarburg?
Cedarburg going to win. You know what? If Homestead wins the first 2 games, Cedarburg can only win 1 game. Because Cedarburg's the 2 in Homestead's bracket.
Okay.
So I'm going to say Cedarburg. I'm going to say Homestead goes to Cedarburg second round. Although, no.
They're not. Are they in? They're not in the same.
Yeah, they are.
Are they?
Yep. By the way, Homestead, Cedarburg plays Germantown.
Yeah.
Who was the only other team other than Slinger to beat Homestead this year.
Okay.
I like Cedarburg in that game to win home.
All right. So you're picking. You're going with both the home squads.
Yes.
I'm going with Grafton. I think Grafton will make it back to state again this year. I think.
They're good. They're real good.
All right. Switching.
Yep.
We got, just for all of AJ's fans out there, the clock is ticking tonight. We have 16 minutes and we got to be out because Dr. Ben's coming in hot at 7:30. So AJ's got to get all his stuff in. So we're going next to
pro football.
No. Major League Baseball.
Oh, Friday.
Yep. All right.
Friday.
Now, I got questions for you.
Yes.
It's Dodgers and Yankees.
Yikes. Yeah.
Question number one.
Yeah.
Do you care?
You know what? Yes. I do.
Okay.
And
Why?
Here's my reason why. The Yankees have not won since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
The Yankees do not deserve to win since 2009.
Right.
So let's go Dodgers in 5.
Dodgers in 5? Really?
Yeah.
Is that who you want or predict or both?
That is exactly what I want, Jack.
You want that? Why do you want the Dodgers?
Because
By the way,
I don't think I want the Dodgers as much as I don't want the Yankees.
what? Why do you dislike the Yankees more than the Dodgers?
Because you can't have Soto, Judge, and Giancarlo and be loved.
What? You know who you're talking about on the other side? They got.
But I like Freddie. I like myself some Freddie.
I don't care if you like Freddie. What about
like-
they buy Mookie Betts? They buy
I want to say
Ichiro.
Ichiro. Yeah. First of all, Ichiro is like 44 years old now. So
I know he is.
Um, I like. You know what? Shohei's a great player.
Mm-hmm.
Kershaw's a great pitcher.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, but he's been great.
Yes, he has.
So I want to see them win. I do want to see.
Why?
Because I think it's, for me, the LA Dodgers have always been the big bad boy in the National League. But I think, for me, growing up, I always despised the Yankees.
Well, so everybody did, unless you were Yankee. It was either a Yankee fan or Yankee hater, like Cowboys.
Yeah, I don't think I can hate on LA because they have some Wisconsin ties on the Dodgers.
Who?
Gavin Lux, their second baseman, is from Kenosha.
I thought you were going to say Shohei is from Racine.
No.
So you're going Dodgers, and you're going to watch. Will you watch all the games?
No. I have more important things to do.
All right. You know how I feel about this baseball, the way it's going. But I started thinking objectively and honestly, and I remember there was a time in whether it was the 20s and early 30s or the 40s and 50s when the Yankees won like 10 in a row or whatever it was.
Yeah, right.
And they didn't have salary caps. The players were so at the mercy of the owners in those days. Nobody was really doing well except for maybe Babe Ruth. But those fans, I wonder how those fans felt every year knowing that the Yankees had the best team. There wasn't free agent movement like there is now. I wonder if they just said, I don't want to know it because Yankees are going to win it again. What do you think?
No, I think it's different this year. The Dodgers, it's more of a question mark with the Dodgers because who's going to start for them? Their pitching is not very good.
It's good enough.
Or not very deep, I should think. Not very deep.
It's deep enough.
True. I mean, if Walker Buehler comes out and throws 7 innings in game 2, we'll see what happens.
They really came in. Their bullpen just mowed down the friggin' Padres in that last game. I mean, and it wasn't close. The Padres batters didn't come close to having a hit.
I know.
All they got were 2 runs. That was it.
I watched the game cast. I wasn't aware.
Man.
But yeah, I don't like either of these teams.
Okay.
I wanted the Guardians to win, but they got knocked out. So.
The Guardians.
Our old friend Benny texted me, and you know what his dream scenario was? The Mets take the Dodgers to 7, and Jesse Winker strikes out 10 a game.
Oh, I saw somebody hating on Jesse Winker the other day.
By the way, did you see what the Chinooks are doing?
Jesse Winker promotion?
Yeah, do you see that?
No, I'm just guessing.
It's a $199 because this is career batting average with the Brewers. It's a $199 ticket special.
Oh, I like that.
So it's a $199 ticket special. I love it.
That is that I give him credit.
Yeah, Eric and the ladies and gentlemen over at the Chinooks have some great ideas.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like it.
Yeah.
So Vinny's still in touch. Vinny's hasn't done himself in over the Brewers collapse.
No. He's still working for the Brewers. He's working for the new FanDuel Sports, by the way.
Is that who's going to have them?
It's called Fan. They just changed the name of the channel. Somebody just bought the rights to the channel. FanDuel bought the rights to the channel.
Okay. All right. It's 7:20. We got 9.5 minutes to talk about NFL football. The big boys on the block.
The big boys on the block. What a big game, huh?
What did you think?
I loved it.
Packers and Texans. Texans were without their number 1 receiver.
Blah, blah, blah. No, so they had stuff on. So
Yeah,
But,
they had
but there's-
Stefan.
by the way, Stefan, my man, stop talking.
He's never going to stop talking.
I know you have 5 catches for 23 yards.
He wears out his welcome everywhere.
You can stop talking. You would say, he's like, you know what he said?
Yes.
Post-game interview?
Go ahead.
I'm never the bigger person.
I know.
I'm
That's one of the all-time classic lines.
That's your problem, buddy. That's your problem right there. I'm never the bigger person. And Jair's no player by himself, but you know, to say I'm never the bigger person. So you're basically saying, yeah, I was the instigator.
Jair Alexander, I'm tired of his shit. He has been out how many 2 or 3 games with some. He always comes up with a phantom injury every year.
The hamstring. It's always the hamstring.
Groin it was this year. And then
same thing.
Yeah, and then he comes in and he can't keep his mouth shut.
I know.
So,
I know. Well, we got 2 more years of that, Jack. So.
Well, do you think that they would ever trade him?
For what?
I don't know. Who would? That's why I'm asking you. Do you think someone would want him?
No, I think LaFleur loves him too much. Halfley loves him for the system.
What about? Let's talk about some good news about the Packers.
They won.
They won. What about that Evan Williams?
He's a stud, man. You want to talk? He's not a Pac-12 player. He's a Big Ten player. He is a bowler.
He is really good. 4th rounder. And I think Bullard's doing decently, but Williams has done spectacularly. So he's getting
stud. Evan Williams is a steal.
He is a steal.
STEAL.
He's not coming off the field anymore. You know who's not playing anymore?
Who?
Stokes is down to like 6 or 8 snaps in the last game.
A game, yeah, it should be. His whole hamstring.
There's a lot of that going around. Boy,
Yeah.
you know, he should get the same treatment that our buddy Devontae got, because Devontae was down for 2 games with a hamstring. He got traded and he was miraculously better.
He should. He really should. By the way, let's get into that a little bit. Aaron,
Hang on.
Sorry.
Packers are at Jacksonville. Let's finish the Packers.
Yeah, sir. Go ahead.
Oh, a couple of things. What about that catch by Tucker Kraft?
Got me. He's a stud, man. He's a stud.
What do you think about the interceptions of Love? Are they concerning you?
No, because Baker Mayfield did the same thing last night.
Okay.
These guys that lead the league in touchdowns are also going to probably lead the league in interceptions, just by their gussiness and their ability to throw the ball deep. So,
Okay.
just going with that.
Today, the new power rankings were out. The Athletic. Guess where the Packers were?
5.
You looked.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
Well, no, I know it's. Well, there was a headline that's the Packers top 5, and then I didn't look at it. I didn't look where they were.
Packers are number 5. The Central Division has 3 teams in the top 5.
5, 3, and 2.
No.
5, 4, and 2.
No.
5, 4, and 1.
No.
5, 3, and 2.
No. The only combination you haven't said. Packers 5, Vikings 3, Detroit 1.
Ravens 2.
Ravens 2. Chiefs 4.
That's
Chiefs 4.
By the way.
What?
By the way.
What?
I'm considering something blasphemous that would have been blasphemous 5 years ago. I'm considering trading Patrick Mahomes because his numbers are not good.
Well, his numbers aren't good. That you get what you deserve in fantasy.
They're winning games, but his numbers are not good.
I know. Would you trade him for any other quarterback?
Yeah, I would.
AJ, not
I would.
fantasy, in real football.
Would I trade him in real football?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
He's a winner.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I wouldn't trade. No, his numbers, his numbers, his let's call it what it is. The Kansas City receivers are not good.
Yeah.
Xavier
Yeah.
Worthy is a straight line runner. No disrespect, but I've yet to see him run like an option run or anything like that. Sky Moore has not developed since they drafted him. So a lot of these guys, and they're bringing guys back. Like they're bringing guys back. It seems like they have never developed receivers.
Yeah. Well, they had Rasheed Rice. He's out
But
for the year,
He's up for the year.
and he was in trouble anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, enough about them. We just said Mahomes is a winner. You know who's not a winner?
Aaron Rodgers.
Did you see his quote? How can they keep the belief in the locker room? Did you see his quote?
No, read it to me.
He just said, "Number one, stop listening to you guys."
What an area.
That is the first thing. It has nothing to do with after they won one game against the lowly Patriots. Said our biggest problem is going to be how do we handle success. They haven't won since. That's not going to be a problem for them.
Fun fact for you, Jack. This time last year, a certain man named Zach Wilson was their quarterback, and they were 4-3.
Oh. Bulldog is having a little fun.
Yeah, he does. He does. But in all reality, Jack, they're not good. Their run defense was terrible the other night. They made Russell Wilson look like an all-pro, like he's not anymore. And they're not good.
Who do you like less as an ex-Packer quarterback, Favre or Rodgers?
That's an easy one for me.
Okay.
It's got to be A-Rod. Just the way he conducts himself is just not good.
Yeah, I never thought anybody would make me more angry than Favre, but he's so annoying. I just can't believe it.
He's just so annoying,
and he can't get away from the rush anymore. That's nothing to do with his attitude. I mean,
he's not mobile. He's not mobile.
He used to run away from those guys. He was a good runner.
Let's compare two quarterbacks right now, okay? Both coming off Achilles injuries. Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins. You can be Cousins right now with that team? I'll think.
All right, we got it. We just got no more. We got Stop that, for God's sakes.
Okay, we got to wrap it.
Yeah. So let's go enough from the negative of Rodgers to the positive of AJ. AJ's advice and words of wisdom to take from the world of sports that you can use and apply in everyday life. AJ, what do you have for us this week besides don't pick your boogers and eat them like Aaron Rodgers?
No. So I was with my students today. And one thing I always like about learning for those who don't know, I'm an avid tutor in the high school, twice a week. And I was with my students today. And one thing I like about being an avid tutor is you never know what you're going to get when they come in the room, because they select the subject they're tutoring based on what they need help in, based on a sheet that they fill up. So one day I just like helping people and helping the students, and I think that's the thing. We can learn so much from young minds, because as crazy as this world is right now, you can still learn so much from them. They can teach us so much about how to be they're so respectful and so nice, and it's just like they can teach you so much from what they not all. I teach sophomores, and it's just like they're so impressionable still at that age, and I just think we can all be impressionable at times. we can all make ourselves a little better at times, based on what I learned from them today.
That's pretty solid, AJ. You don't the youngsters get a bad rap these days, but there are
Yeah,
a lot of good kids.
yeah. Especially I like working with them because they work in small groups, and they're better in small groups than they are in large groups.
Okay. All right. Well said. Well done. Now we will not have a mafia tomorrow because we're doing this tonight.
No.
Okay.
I
So, but
understand.
it's great. Great to see you. Yeah. Great. Good. So glad you're still with it. You keep ditching out on us all the time. I'm concerned.
No, I got you.
Thank you. All right. Well, you have a great week. We talked about like Saturday afternoon, right?
Yeah. I just gotta know when I'm going home. I don't know yet when I'm going
Okay.
home.
Well, you let me know.
Dad's traveling right now. The boss is traveling right now, so I don't
Okay.
know when I'm going home.
All right. Well, no rush. Just we'll figure it out. But look for us sometime on Saturday afternoon. We'll both post in.
Yeah.
Oh, look at your biggest fan, Russ Meyer. AJ for the win. We can all be better.
What's up, bro? Thank you, Russell. Appreciate that.
Russell's such a suck up. I can't stand him.
Love it, Russ. Love it.
All right. Well, Russell's a good man. AJ, you have a great night. It is time for the next episode of Dr. Ben and his words of wisdom, of which he has many. So,
All right, brother.
all right. We'll see you soon.
Yep. See you soon.
Take care.
Take care.
We are live. And you know what the most important letter of the alphabet is? You know, anybody? What does quality start with? Q. We're in the Q dome. Quist, quality.
Yes.
I had some car issues today, everybody out there, but you know what? That's an auto body thing. If you need a body thing, you're talking to the doctor of body, the Dr. Feelgood for the 21st century. He is the one, the only bad Quist.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Gosh. Thanks, Jack. That's amazing. I love my intro. It's spectacular.
It's got to be different every time, Ben. I got to keep coming up with new ones for you. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm very good. How about yourself?
Good. It's been too long. You've been on the run.
Yeah, it's been very busy at the fitness centers in Grafton, Wisconsin. So
yes.
Mequon. So it's been running.
Form and Fitness for all you kids out there who want to know what the best gym in the world. It's Form and Fitness. The main ship is in Grafton, and then the Mequon, is that strictly for training, personal training in Ben?
Our Mequon location is one-on-one personal training, and that probably is the busiest one-on-one training location in the state of Wisconsin. So
really,
that's what we're known for. I think we are the longest lived personal training. We've been over 24 years at that location. So
really,
I don't think there were 3 ones that opened when I opened way back in the day, but I think they're all gone. I think it's just me. We're the last dinosaur left. But
you're the last gym standing.
Oh, totally. But that means we have tons of very experienced, really good trainers at that location. We do mostly one-on-one, but we also have small group training too. That's been a new program for us that's been doing really well. So
nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll get back to that. But is there something you wanted to talk about in particular in the health or fitness world?
Yeah. I wanted to talk about what my weekly email topic was, but I can't remember if we discussed this last time. Did we talk about my most amazing client?
No.
The astonishing results this guy had. Right.
No, we did not.
We just got to talk about this, and his results they were astonishing. So many times when somebody comes in for personal training or comes into a fitness center, they have a broad variety of different things that they're looking to do. Usually there's losing weight, maybe it's toning up, but many times also there are health concerns. And even though we're not doctors, well, I'm a doctor of physical therapy, but I'm not a doctor. They come in with health concerns that have lifestyle changes make a big impact on it. So one of those would be diabetes. So
yes.
That's one of the biggest disease processes in the United States. It is kind of a precursor to disease that makes you much more likely to have things that are really bad, like heart disease and other problems. But it's a really nasty disease process, and it is something that way too many Americans are struggling with. And I think it's somewhere in the ballpark of 10 to 15% of the entire American population has type 2 diabetes or
Wow.
is diabetic. It's a big number. So this guy was an old client of mine, and every so often, I don't do this too often, but maybe once every 3 months, I'll write an email about a member or a client that is really doing some amazing things, because I just want to share it, because, other people should hear about this. So this guy, we'll call him John, that's not his real name, but he came back to me as a client. I don't really take clients, but this guy was like my second client I ever had when I was like 27, long decades ago.
Three or 4 years ago.
Yes. But so, well over 20 years ago, I saw this guy for training, and he did extremely well. Worked with him for, maybe 3 years, lost tons of body fat. He was in his 40s at the time, one of my star clients. And then for whatever reason, life got in the way, and he kind of stopped training, and he stopped doing his fitness program. And fast forward almost 25 years later, he's now 67. I'm 51. You're the oldest living trainer alive. And he comes back, and I couldn't not take him back as a client, because he's like, those were my favorite clients. He was like way back at the very beginning. And he's like, Ben, I really need some help this time. And so long story short, the things that John wanted to work on were, number one, he had progressed from pre-diabetes into full-blown diabetes, which is, for your listeners, the stat that they typically use to identify diabetes is A1C measurements, which is a blood test that looks at how your body has been responding to your blood sugar levels over the course of a 3-month span. So it's like a nice big broad snapshot of how your body is managing its blood sugar levels. Again, it's called A1C. So John had slipped into this point where he was above where he should be, and frankly, I think it kind of worried him and scared him, which it probably should have.
Yeah, it jolted him into action, right?
Jolted him into action, and the one thing about this guy is he's very persistent. Like, you'll tell him what to do, and he'll just be like, "Oh, I'll do it." Where with many other clients, there's a lot of negotiating. Well, I don't want to do that, or that's too much, or that's too little. Like, there's all kinds of negotiation that goes on, but he was just like, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. So I gave him like one of the most extreme plans to try to get him back going to where he needed to be. And the results that happened were just astonishing, and I'm going to share with you in a moment. But the plan that he did was 3 months of intensive strength training, safe, but it's intensive. Like, even as a 67-year-old, you can still lift weights intensely if you select the right exercises and you do them with the proper form. And actually, I would argue that it is more important for someone who's in their 60s or 70s or 80s to be doing strength training at the proper intensity. So first and foremost, proper intensity strength training program, boom. He basically worked out 7 days a week. 3 of those days were strength training, and 4 of those days were cardio workouts on his own, which were a mixture of HIIT training, which is kind of high intensity interval training, with low level cardio like walking. So he kind of peppered those in. So he had 4 of those cardio workouts with 3 of the strength training workouts. He was exercising for roughly 45 to 60 minutes a day, 7 days a week. So does that sound extreme? Probably not to you.
It sounds extreme, because I have to ask you. I can hold my question to the end, but your story is going really well, so I don't want to interrupt. Go ahead.
Keep it okay. So, anyways, for many people that would be too much. But like, again, this guy wanted the Rolls Royce plan of trying to get him where he needed to be. So we implemented that. He also started to change his diet. So we did some things where it wasn't crazy, but we were really changing what he was eating over that course of time, and mainly less processed foods and less refined sugar were the 2 biggies that we're focusing on. And then finally, the last thing, and this is the one that's really wacko, we did prolonged fasting. And I don't work for Prolong. I don't make any money about this particular fasting system, but it's a 5-day fast mimicking plan that you buy. It comes in a box, and it gives you prepared food that puts you into a fasted state, even though you're still eating food. And it is probably the most well-researched fasting protocol in the world. So it was one of the few ones that has legitimate placebo-controlled, double-blind research that has been done on it, and the research is incredibly compelling. So Larry did 2 cycles of prolonged fasting over the course of the 90 days. So basically 10 days out of the 90, he was doing this prolonged fasting system.
Okay.
So then at 3 months pass, he does all this stuff, and then he goes to the doctor and he has his A1C remeasured. And so he dropped from 7.0 all the way down to like 5.8, 5.9, somewhere in that range, which takes him out of the diabetic range. And this is unmedicated. So the doctor didn't give him any metformin or any medication to try to lower that. He's like, well, let's try it, see what you can do. I know you're pretty dedicated when you get going. So through lifestyle, exercise, and other methods. So when someone has diabetes, the first line of defense sometimes is a medication called metformin. The normal change that someone experiences when they go on metformin over the course of a 3-month span, cited on Google, is anywhere from 1.5 to 2% decrease in your A1C. So that would be 0.14 of a decrease. So if he had just gone on metformin, he would have dropped from 7 to like 6.8. Better, but still kind of sucks, right?
Right.
So he dropped an entire point and then some. So he had, I don't even know, percentage base, that's like a 20 or 30% decrease. He had a massive decrease in his A1C, so much so that the doctor was like, did I get the blood test wrong? Or did we get this? Did they get someone else's information get put in here?
Right. And, did you swap a sample?
We swap a sample,
Yeah.
And he is, we're in our kind of second 3-month phase now. And I'm really excited to see what happens because he had 1 more prolonged fast. You usually do 3 in a year, and then you're done. I'm really curious to see what happens on the next one. Does he go from 5.8 down to 5.3 and become totally normalized? My guess is that he will, because he also additionally lost 12 pounds of body fat over the course of 3 months, and he gained a little bit of muscle tissue. So I've had that with several clients over the last couple of years, and I call that the holy grail. When you're losing body fat as you're gaining muscle, where many individuals, if they go on something like an Ozempic type drug, they lose tons of weight, but they lose a lot of muscle tissue, lean tissue, in addition to body fat, which is not the best thing in the world. So that's where sometimes if you don't have that strong strength training component with it, you can get yourself into a little trouble with some of that kind of stuff. So that is my story. And so any questions that you have?
All right. To give a little sense of scale, like when you say 7 to 5, that doesn't sound like much to somebody who doesn't know what these measurements mean. But then you said it's like a 20 to 30% decrease in his, and that count like on a what scale? On a diabetic scale? I don't know, Ben. What are you talking about?
Well, so I'm just speaking for what I'm getting secondhand from him, what his doctor said, but the doctor, that is incredible. I was worried that we maybe got our results wrong. That is a massive decrease.
Massive decrease.
Yeah, massive decrease.
Is you said he was working out 7 days a week. Normally, that's too much, isn't it? But it doesn't matter. No, you can do it every day.
Everybody should move every single day.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you get 1 day of rest. Every human body is designed to move every day. You just do different things. So it could be playing pickleball 1 day. That counts for movement. Taking a long walk, taking a jog, strength training. You just want to, put different things on each day. You wouldn't be like, I'm going to strength train my legs, 7 days a week. That'd be too much.
Okay. So I just had another thing. Oh, okay. He has 1 more measurement you're going to do with him again, right? And he's continuing to work out with you, though, correct?
Yeah. Yep. We're in our second 3-month phase here, and his doctor is following him every 3 months because his doctor wants to make sure that he gets into a non-diabetic range. But the other thing that's also fascinating me, if you Google, can you reverse diabetes? It would give you the information that kind of the company line is you can't reverse that. Once you're diabetic, you're always diabetic, and I have seen so many people that have been able to, through lifestyle change, reverse it and or get off medication or greatly reduce the amount of medication that they're on, which is I guess my point of this entire conversation is that lifestyle change with that particular disease process, just from what I've seen in my limited experience, is one of the most powerful things you can do to change your blood sugar levels, and your, how your body is integrating with all that.
Well, God bless him for doing the lifestyle changes and not just going whole hog on the drug. I mean, sometimes people say, just give me the drugs, I'm on them. But lifestyle makes so much difference fighting all these diseases. I mean, everything from sleep to diet,
Yep.
and processed food and macronutrients versus not. Huge lifestyle change for this guy. Is he happy? I mean, is he running around like, I can't keep this up forever? Or is he like,
No,
yes.
If anything, he seems like he's even more motivated now. And when you lose 12 pounds of body fat, that doesn't sound like a lot in 3 months, but most people, when they're like, I lost like 25 pounds, like, okay, well, 5 of it was water weight, then it was stored sugar, then it was muscle tissue, then it was fat. If you lose 12 pounds of actual body fat, that's like the size of a basketball. So it's feeling a lot better.
And it's a dumbbell. If you take a dumbbell and a 12-pound dumbbell, try and hold that out. That's amazing how much difference that makes in a life. And wow. So, and he's 67.
Yep. And that's the other point, is that you're never too old to get started on this stuff. I should preface, scratch that. I do think at a certain point it gets too late, and that's him and I kept in touch over the last few decades. And I kept telling him, like, don't wait till you're too old to even do this,
right.
Where things like arthritis get in the way, or different things, we're not able to make the changes necessary, but at 67, many people would say, is that too old already? And it certainly wasn't, no. I mean, I'm having to like up my weights in the gym because I'm going to make sure that he doesn't surpass me on anything like that. I don't need that kind of stuff going on, So
that's pretty funny. Well, Ben, he's 67, and you've known him. He used to smoke too, if I remember your email correctly.
Yep.
And he hasn't started smoking again, has he? He's all good on that.
When we first worked together in his early 40s, he dropped that habit, because I won't even, like, if you're going to do that, you might as well not work together, because it's like, that is so destructive to your body. That was the first thing we went after. And like I said, it was really, he's like, okay, I'm stopping. And he just stopped. He's very able to do that kind of stuff, which is one of the things that was impressive. But what he did, any person could do. Like, it's not like it's outside of the realm where it's super crazy. It's just that he was very consistent, and he really followed the plan, and he's reaping the benefits.
That's fantastic. You're familiar with that? Is it Michael Goggins, is the Steel guy? Have you listened to or read his book, You Can't Hurt Me, or something?
I have not.
The reason I bring it up is just what you said about anybody could do this, because he lost, like, when he decided he was going to go for SEALs in like an incredibly, insanely short amount of time, like 100 pounds. I mean, he was way overweight and stuff, but the stuff he was doing, most people couldn't. You just wouldn't be able to do in a normal schedule. So, I mean, it was like, okay, this is really cool. It sounds great, but it's impossible for me. But what you say is the important thing is he's doing well health-wise. But the other critical takeaway is that if you put your mind to it, you can do this. And it's not the tools that he had. You may not be able to do all the things he did, but certainly you can cut out the processed food and train and join a gym and do all that stuff. So it's within your reach, which is very, very, very great to hear.
Well, and the other thing too, and I not that I'm trying to get everyone to do personal training, but if you get a good personal trainer who puts you on a smart exercise plan, many times it's maybe a little bit less than you thought, but we're really looking to optimize your time and making sure that you're spending it in the right places. So A, you're not getting injured, and B, you're getting the right results. So like several of his days, like 2 days a week, I'm like, you just take a slow walk outside with your wife, or like but it has to be an hour, so just that kind of stuff. That's not hard. Like David Goggins, like, and that's where like some of it's like, that's why I don't really read that kind of material, because like, I'm not into like the Herculean type of things where like then a normal person tries it and they blow out their back and tear out their knee and like, are crippled afterwards. I really kind of think that you have to come up with a plan that is sustainable for a average human being to do, which most of us have injuries. Most of us are, everyone's getting older, like it's, and that's why I think some of these fads like CrossFit are dying out, because, these extreme things, like people have to realize it becomes something where you're no longer doing it for your health, because exercise is a U-shaped curve of benefit, meaning that there's a lot of benefit initially, a lot of benefit up to a certain point, and then the benefit caps, and then it starts to be a downside. Either from too much stress on muscle tissue, bones, ligaments, discs, where things get ruptured, or you start to overtrain, and you pull too many resources from your body with the exercise that you're doing. So it's about doing the right amount.
And in what you say about whenever you talk about personal training, I always think about it wasn't about physical health at all. It was about mental health. But the analogy is the same. People think, I don't need a trainer. I can do this myself. Well, Olympic athletes have trainers. LeBron James has a trainer. He doesn't do it all himself. The best pitchers in the world, we're in baseball playoffs right now. They have pitching coaches. So this idea that you can do it yourself, yeah, maybe to a point, but if you want to really do the job, you need some help to get it done right and the most efficiently. Otherwise, like you said, you could spend 6 months spinning your wheels and not know why. Right.
Well, yeah, especially if you're kind of, you just dabble in exercise, or you've been doing the same routine for that's the perfect example. So let's do the exact same thing in the gym they have for the last 20 years. That's a great candidate to get a trainer to kind of spice up your routine a little bit, or change it a little bit, so yeah. One other point on this client, and this is something that I've thought about, this individual that had this really, and again, I'm not a physician, I can't give medical advice. These are just my own thoughts swirling around in my head. Mm-hmm. Which of those different things that he did, which ones of those really impacted that huge drop he had in that one measurement? Is it the fact that he lost weight? I'm sure that contributed to it. Is it that he changed his diet and got processed foods out of there and sugar? I'm sure that helped. Is it the exercise in and of itself, which has a really strong effect on your body because you utilize up all your blood sugar when you're exercising, and it helps with things like diabetes? I'm sure that helped. But I'm curious, and I'm going to look this up, but in the studies on that prolonged fasting system, they have how much they were measuring blood sugar markers. I'm curious to see what the average drop was. And if I had to guess, because I don't have that information just stored in my head, I bet this guy's drop was way better, because he did everything. Mm-hmm. He did that, layered with this, layered with that, so I'm going to do that. Actually, I'll tell you next time when we get on the call.
Okay.
As far as what was the difference between the average, we know that metformin drops an average of 1.5 to 2% over 3 months if you take the medication. But what do you drop if you just do the 3 prolongs? So,
and you bring up this whole bigger topic to me anyway about diabetes awareness. I think I call it diabetes awareness. I mean, is it just now being a problem, or is it always a problem? We didn't know what it was. The public, and it wasn't diagnosed because nobody thought of testing for it, or that it might be an issue.
No, it's a standard medical test that they do. It's not like the heart scan, which we've talked about before, where it's not a standard test, which is still shocking that is not like the first thing they do to somebody who, as soon as you turn 40, you get your first heart scan. You're like, I'd be doing future videos with my cardiologist buddy about that, and why, just talking about why do we think that is where is the resistance coming from on that?
Right.
But with diabetes, there are very standard blood tests that they measure in any physical that checks for that. I think it's just become a lot more prevalent because of the state of what people are eating, and then also the fact that up to just very recently, until the advent of all these drugs for obesity, our obesity numbers were just rising, over the last, many decades. So I think that also has increased, the amount of people that are struggling with this particular disease process.
And we talk often about Arnold's newsletter. And this last week he had one, Has Obesity Met Its Match? I don't know if you saw that or not.
I did.
And a couple things that to me, he said approximately 1 out of 8 Americans are either doing the Ozempic or Wegovy, whatever the other ones are, those type of drugs, whether it's for diabetes or weight loss. That's a huge number.
It's a big number. I have 2 different clients that I'm following right now who started those drugs in the last 6 months. And it's been very interesting watching, because I'm very curious. We're bringing in a physician who administers those to have her talk at Form and Fitness in our winter speaker series. So I'm really excited to have her come speak about upsides, downsides, what is she seen as a person who's prescribing these to this huge multitude of people? But I've been shocked at just the difference between these two individuals. Like, one is having a phenomenal weight loss, one is not. One is having a lot more side effects, one isn't. So it's just like, it's interesting. They're not completely benign drugs. Like, there can be some issues with them, and they don't always work, but like,
right.
Or, in the case my brother's on, one of those, he's lost like 70 pounds. He looks like a,
wow.
Yeah. He's lighter than me now. That's the first time that's happened in the last, 30 years. He weighs less than I.
Wow.
So,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say, all this is about awareness of what you're doing to yourself. The back to school challenge that Jeremiah's got going right now at Foreman Fitness. It's, first of all, to me, it's like seems like the biggest one as far as people who are participating.
Yeah.
But also all the different ways people are doing it, and the awareness that he's bringing to not just him, I'm sure other people worked on it as well, but that your gym is bringing to people about the everyday. Today it's the water. Always have a glass of water before. Some days it's exercise. Some days it's not. One day it was meditation. Another day it was, the deep squat day almost killed me. But that was, it's not always like that. It's not just physical stuff. So I want to compliment you on that, because that's really been seems to me, not from how you see it, but from my perspective, just the amount of people who are talking about it in a good way, kind of fun, like, oh God, did you get your thing? Really done well. So
that's great to hear. It's the first year we've run that one. It's a new type of, special. It's free to our membership, but I can see that it's working well. I see all the stars accumulating on the giant board downstairs.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. That's good to hear.
It's very cool. I don't know if you have time for this, but I'm going to forewarn you. In the coming segment, I want to ask you, because we've talked about this around close to it a lot of times, but you said like 30 years ago or however many years ago it was how did you decide to become a physical trainer and then a doctor of PT, and how did you get into the whole thing? I'm curious about that. I'd like to hear about your personal story as how you got into that. I did that. Yep. It's too much for right now, but you better start.
I'll noodle on that a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like because every one of the decisions you've made is a big decision. Becoming a trainer, it's not just fitness. Then you become a trainer. That's a big decision. And then another big decision is I'm going to be PT. And then how many physical therapists are there in the world who don't start gyms? I mean, so you've done a lot of different things, and I'm curious about that journey. That's what I want to catch next time.
Talk about that.
Yep. Cool. Good. All right. Well, God, that's great news about your client, and it's great news that for people. Again, the overall message is you don't have to go crazy to do this. You can do it. Yep. You need some direction. You need some help.
Yep.
To be the most efficient that you can, but it can be done. According
most
to
definitely. Yes. And, and really the time to start is now. It's not, don't put it off. Don't keep thinking you're going to do it. Like, once I turn 50, I'm going to start getting into shape. Like, just start now. You just get into that everyday habit of moving, which I think is one of the most powerful things you can do. But then secondary to that, start to learn more about your nutrition and what you're eating, and the more knowledge you have on that, the more you might make better decisions,
big time
in that department.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you've ruined labels for me now. I can't look at that. So no, in a good way. So very cool. Good. Well, good. Thanks a lot, Ben. It's great news about your client, and hope you have a hell of a lot more clients having the same kind of success story, right? Yep. So cool. All right. Jack. Well, thank you. See you next week. Don't be late.
Sounds good. I won't. Bye.
See ya. Bye.